Take us through what are Sun Pharma's plans.
Hi, Harsha. Thanks for having me. Basically, they want to plug holes that exist in their current portfolio. So, they kind of don't have any assets, factories that are dedicated to making injectable drugs and also oral liquids. So they would be looking to fill those holes. They also have quite an extensive portfolio of ophthalmology products, which are generics. So they'd want to complement that with any kind of brands that they can acquire in ophthalmology. In addition to that, like most other Indian pharma companies, they would be looking to expand their global footprint because more than half of their business comes from the US.
Sure.
So he did mention that they would be looking at Japan and Europe as places of interest for acquisition.
Can you take us through what Sun Pharma is likely to do in the next fiscal? What kind of business growth has he factored in?
Sure. So in addition to inorganic growth, Sun Pharma has just done a fantastic job of identifying drugs where there's going to be limited competition or there are going to be shortages. And Doxil is a really, really great example of that. This is a drug that's used as a second or third line therapy for ovarian cancer and several different other types of cancer that basically only Johnson & Johnson makes. This drug, they applied for an ANDA for this drug a couple years ago. And last year, Johnson & Johnson started having problems with its main supplier that manufactures that drug. So that drug went into shortage. And Sun Pharma, because of its timely application, got a fast-tracked approval from the FDA for that drug. And now is about to take over the entire market because Johnson & Johnson's key supplier has said that they will stop producing drugs altogether by the end of the year. And before generics came onto the scene, this drug was a $400 million drug for Johnson & Johnson.
Sure.
So that's just one example of how they've really pursued these complicated drugs, hard to produce, hard to manufacture, and hard to get approvals for type of drugs.
This is all fascinating because Sun Pharma is talking about growth and expansion at a time when the industry as a whole is going through so much of regulatory pressure. But, I want to know a little more about Dilip Shanghvi as a man because he's on the Bloomberg rich list. He's extremely media shy. Not much is written about him. Take us through what's the sense you got about him? Is he aggressive? Does he have a long-term vision of where he wants to take us through? Give us a color on Dilip Shanghvi as a person.
Sure. He is a kind of shy, retiring character. He spends a lot of time reading. He loves reading nonfiction and biographies. And outside of Sun Pharma, he wants to invest in annuity-type businesses where you just kind of get a regular return and you don't have to look over things too much because his life is really devoted to making the right decisions, the right investment decisions, choosing the right drugs to apply for, picking the right acquisition targets for Sun Pharma. So that's really his life. The other interesting thing about him is that he was genuinely very surprised and flattered to be picked as one of the top 50 most influential people in the world by Bloomberg Markets.
Sure.
So that was also kind of telling.
We should get him sometime on TV and get you more on TV.